You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, let's go. The Knicks needed overtime in their final game before the All-Star break. In their first game back, they needed overtime again. They beat the Hawks in the game before the All-Star break. Tonight, they beat the Bulls. Both of those games coming at Madison Square Garden. Tonight in the extra session, Knicks beat the Bulls 113-111. Now, no Josh Hart, no OG Anunoby. We'll get to it all, but no problem for the Knicks, who beat the Bulls finally in their third attempt against Chicago. As for the leaders, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson were tremendous. They lead the way. The Knicks have now won 3 straight and 10 of 12. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Glad you're aboard. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast, which is this, gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game, and that's exactly what we do. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. As we said, Cat and Brunson were great. They combined to pump in 54 between the two of them, and quite a surprise from Deuce McBride tonight. Pumped in a season-high 23, and considering it came with both Hart and OG down, kudos to Deuce. A tremendous job there by McBride as, once again, the Knicks win. All that coming up on the postcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Your favorite podcast, by the way, now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. All right, let's do it. As we said, 113-111 in overtime over the Bulls. Quite a play by Mikal Bridges at the end of regulation to block a shot that would have given the Bulls the win. Instead, it forces overtime, so kudos to Bridges, who stepped up tonight. We'll get to all the numbers. Now, with 27 games remaining in the season, the Knicks are 37-18. They've won their 20th game at home. They're 20-10 on the floor at Madison Square Garden. Again, 37-18 overall. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 10 of 12. This is the first time, however, this season that the Knicks were down 2 starters, both Josh Hart and OG Anunoby out tonight. For Hart, the second time he's missed a game. For OG, it's the 6th straight game. Of course, he's been out with a bad right foot. As for Josh Hart, out with a sore knee. Both, according to Tibbs, are considered day to day. All right, now, as for the starters missing, we told you about Deuce McBride. Precious Achiuwa also stepped up. Achiuwa played 46 out of a possible 53 minutes. As for Deuce, he played 42 minutes. We'll get to the minutes police portion of the show coming up. But again, the combination of Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, good for 54 tonight. 32 from Towns. Brunson had 22. As for Cat, he was 2 of 15 from the floor in the first half. Just terrible. However, he changed things around big time in the third quarter. He was 9 of 10 from the floor in the third, scored 20 points alone in the third quarter. What's interesting about his second half was he didn't score 1 point in the fourth quarter. Again, 20 in the third, nothing in the fourth. 6 of the 9 points scored by the Knicks in overtime, courtesy of Karl Anthony Towns. So again, not much in the first half, not much in the fourth quarter. but all business in the third quarter and specifically in overtime, where again, the Knicks outscored the Bulls 9-7, and 6 of those 9 points coming courtesy of Karl Anthony Towns, who chucked up 30 shots tonight. He was 14 of 30, including 2 of 10 from three-point land. However, 32 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and was never in foul trouble at any point. So kudos there belong to Karl Anthony Towns. Now, as we said, the Knicks have won 10 of 12. They're 4-0 in overtime this season, but perhaps more importantly, the Knicks under Tibbs are now 66-42 after the All-Star break. As we said, the Knicks entered the All-Star break with 36 wins. Just the third best record the Knicks have ever had at the All-Star break, second most wins. Again, 36. Point being, Tibbs is a second half coach, and we've heard him say many times, just get ready for the playoffs. Well, that's exactly what Tibbs teams do. The Knicks, exactly that. As we said, now under Tibbs, after the All-Star break, the Knicks are 66-42, essentially playing 65% basketball, which is tremendous. Again, no Josh Hart, no OG Anunoby. The Knicks are now 18-15 since acquiring OG, with him not in the lineup. Obviously, when he's there, the Knicks play well. They are 52-20. However, the Knicks have been without OG for the last 6 games. They're 18-15 without him since the trade. So the Knicks have been pretty good of late without OG. They were right around 500, but they've won again 3 in a row without OG, and again 10 of 12. And because of that, the Knicks are now 18-15 without OG in the lineup since his trade to New York. Now, no Josh Hart, who missed just his second game of the season, out with a sore knee. He too, like OG, considered day-to-day. However, Mitchell Robinson is also considered day-to-day, but he has now completed his contact portion of practice, if you will. He's been in on 5-on-5, full contact, no problem. So it should be a matter of days before we see Mitchell Robinson playing his first game this season. What an addition that would be. Of course, he had the left ankle surgery after last season. He was cleared for contact 2 weeks ago, now cleared for 5-on-5. So Mitchell Robinson should be back fairly soon. As for Karl Anthony Towns, now 42 double-doubles in 50 games. Remember, the Knicks have played 55. He's missed 5 of them. The Knicks are 2-3 without him in the lineup. Point is, when he plays, it's a double-double machine. 42 double-doubles in 50 games. Now, just to refresh your memory, in the first 2 games against the Bulls, he pumped in 100 points total. 90 points total. Terrible math. 46 in the first game, 44 in the second game. So 2 of his 5 40-point games came against the Bulls. Now, 32 more tonight, including 18 rebounds. The Knicks had 10 offensive rebounds. A big reason why that number is so low tonight, obviously, no Josh Hart, who was an offensive rebound machine. Hope to have him back. Now, as we said, no Hart, no Anunoby. Well, no problem for Precious Achiuwa and Deuce McBride, each playing well over 40 minutes. In fact, let's do the minutes police portion of the show now. As we said, Precious led all players with 46 minutes played. They played overtime, so the maximum amount of minutes a player could have played tonight was 53. Precious sat for all but 7 minutes. Mikal Bridges, of course, leads the NBA, still first at nearly 39 per. Well, that number is going to go up. He played 44 minutes tonight. Karl Anthony Towns played 43. The only Knicks starter to play fewer than 40 minutes tonight, believe it or not, was Jalen Brunson, who, like Karl Anthony Towns, at first struggled from the floor. In fact, The two combined to throw up 51 shots. They only made 22 of them. However, Brunson, which with some clutch shots late, with some clutch defense late, had 22 points, 12 assists, a steal, a block, and only 2 turnovers. In fact, as a team, pretty good numbers. Knicks dished out 28 assists to just 11 turnovers. Now, we talked about the magic number. In fact, we talk about it on every postcast. 30-plus assists in a game for the Knicks usually means a win. In fact, 22 times the Knicks have registered at least 30 assists in a game this season. They're 20-2. So just 2 times they've dished out 30-plus assists and not one. They did not get to that number tonight. They dished out 28 assists, but again, only 11 turnovers, below the season average of 13, roughly 13 per game. So kudos to the Knicks there. And how about Deuce McBride turning in some wonderful defense? Deuce had 23. We told you about his season high. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, key blocks too. A career high in blocks for Deuce. He's never had 3 blocks, but again, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 0 turnovers for Deuce McBride. As we said, the Knicks had just 11 total turnovers. All right, we'll take our first break. We got to get back into the numbers, specifically the Bulls from three-point land. You won't believe the numbers. We'll do that next. All right, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. And there's no better place to get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. How about that? And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally, which happened to be tonight, or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, the Knicks and Bulls, second half underway. Knicks beat the Bulls in overtime, 113-111. Some pretty big numbers on both sides. As we said, Karl Anthony Towns, 32 and 18, yet another double-double. 23 points for Deuce McBride, a season high. 22 for Jalen Brunson. The Knicks as a team were just 14 of 46 from 3, below their season average percentage-wise. That's 30%. They were 46 of 107 from the floor. That's 43%. So not great shooting tonight, specifically in the first half, where the Knicks really struggled. 2 of 15 from the floor in the first half for Karl Anthony Towns. Of course, we told you he was 9 of 10 from the floor in the third quarter alone, scoring 20 of his 32 in the third quarter. What's interesting about the second half numbers for Cat, as we said, 20 points alone in the third quarter. He did not score a single point in the fourth quarter. And then the Knicks in overtime scored 9 points. He scored 6 of them. So he had 26 of his 32 in the second half and overtime. That's with a bagel in the fourth quarter. So interesting numbers. As for the Hawks, they are for the Bulls, pardon me. They are chuckers. They love to shoot threes. Second most threes made in the NBA this season. More of the same tonight. They threw up 48 threes and made 19 of them. Everyone in the starting lineup hit at least 1 3, and 3 Bulls in the starting lineup hit at least 3 threes. So really interesting stuff numbers-wise from the Bulls. As we said, 19 of 48 from 3. That's 40%. Pretty good. 41 for 103 from the floor for 40%. Not great. But again, they live and die by the 3 tonight. more of the same. Lonzo Ball had 14. Josh Giddey was giddy up tonight. He was excellent. The Bulls' best player. He had 27 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Excellent stuff from Josh Giddey, who once had a triple-double in an OKC uniform at Madison Square Garden. He's what's left of the Bulls after the trade deadline. He was 11 of 18 from the floor, 4 of 6 from 3, and again, a monster double-double for Giddey, who was killing the Knicks all night long. 27 points and 16 rebounds. All right, the Knicks bench points, as we've discussed, because of the minutes being so high from starters, the Knicks last in bench points in the NBA. Just over 20 points per game. Tonight, not much more. 12 points total. However, the Knicks did have 3 key contributors off the bench tonight. All of them, interestingly enough, playing 17 minutes. Ariel Hukporti with some early minutes and some big blocks. Cam Payne played 17 minutes, and Landry Shamet played 17 minutes as well. So 3 players off the bench, all playing 17 minutes. Remember, they played overtime tonight, so that's 5 extra minutes. But again, they combined to score just 12 of the 113 points the Knicks scored. Precious had 11. Mikal Bridges, who had the amazing defensive play on Vucevic at the end of regulation to save it for the Knicks. That would have been a crushing blow. So we talk about his offense a lot, but kudos to Bridges for his defense tonight. Bridges was 6 of 16 from the floor for 13 points. As for Brunson, 8 of 21. Deuce was 9 of 19, including 5 of 12 from three-point land. So 5 3-pointers for Deuce McBride. Again, Bridges and McBride combined to score 36. Remember, they did not come off the bench tonight. They were starters. No OG Anunoby, no Josh Hart. And for the first time all season, the Knicks had 2 starters missing from a game. They had only had 1 starter missing from a game several times. Brunson missed a game. Josh Hart missed a game. Cat missed 5. But again, tonight was the first time that the Knicks missed 2 starters, and they win anyways. As for the schedule, it gets no easier. We'll go over that coming up. We also have to do the standings. Once again, the Knicks beat the Bulls 113-111 in overtime. Knicks are now 37-18 overall, 20-10 at home. Now they'll keep pace with the Cavs. We'll check in on the Celtics. Of course, the Knicks face the Cavs tomorrow night in Cleveland. They're traveling from New York to Cleveland. What's interesting about the schedule is so are the Cavs. Traveling from New York to Cleveland back-to-back. They're in Brooklyn tonight, were the Cavs, and they beat the Nets 110-97. So both teams playing on Thursday, both teams traveling to Cleveland from New York for a game on Friday. That game is an early start time, 7 Eastern. We're used to our 7:30 Eastern time starts. Again, tomorrow night is 7 Eastern. And then take note, off day on Saturday, but 3 games in 4 nights or 4 days, because on Sunday against the Celtics, it's a 1 o'clock tip time from Boston. Again, that's on Sunday, 3 games in 4 nights for the Knicks. We'll take a real quick break. In fact, just a seconds-long break. And when we return, we'll do the standings. And we will do the schedule as well, as you continue to watch the Knicks postcast as the Knicks hosted and beat the Bulls tonight. All right, 113-111, the final score in overtime. The Knicks did a wonderful job on Kobe White, specifically Mikal Bridges. White scored 11 points tonight. Obviously nothing to write home about. If you're a Bull, if you're a Knick, plenty to write home about, because the last time we saw Kobe White, January 4th, he chucked up quite a few shots. He made quite a few shots. 33 points, including 9 3-pointers. Well, that was not the case tonight. He, in 41 minutes, by the way, led all Bulls players in playing time with 41 minutes, just 5 of 11 for 11 points and 6 assists. So kudos to the Knicks, and specifically Mikal Bridges, who was on White tonight, for keeping him down. As we said, he scored 33 on 9 3-pointers the last time the Knicks and Bulls played. So the Knicks had lost to the Bulls both times they played before tonight. But now the Knicks are 4-0 in overtime. As we said, the standings are what we'll look at next. As we said, the Knicks do not pick up any ground on the Cavaliers. And for that matter, they don't pick up any ground on the Celtics either. The Celtics win their 41st game of the year. They beat the Sixers 124-104. As we said, the Cavs beat the Nets 110-97. So all things considered, it's as if the Cavs and Celtics and Knicks didn't play because they all won. So the Knicks remain 2.5 behind the Celtics, 8.5 behind the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference. Again, those are the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. Of course, Cleveland, of course, Boston, and of course, the Knicks. There's some separation there. And to be honest, there's separation between Cleveland and the Boston Knicks 2-3 spots. But outside of those 3 teams, plenty to play for in the Eastern Conference. Just lower down in the standings. The Bulls are a part of that as well. They're in the 10th spot. Currently battling with the Heat, Hawks, Nets, and Sixers, all within a couple of games of each other for the 10th spot. And obviously, that would be a play-in scenario for Chicago. All right, the Knicks, as we said, and it bears repeating, very strong team under Tibbs' second half of the season, post-All-Star break. The Knicks are now 66-42, including tonight, under Tibbs after the All-Star break. Now, there's some sour seasons in there as well. So the fact that Tibbs kept things together, specifically in the second half, kudos to Coach Tibbs and the rest of the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns played 43 minutes, 14 of 30 from the floor. He missed 16 shots. As we said, Towns and Brunson combined were 22 of 51. They missed nearly 30 shots combined. So it wasn't pretty tonight. But again, when they needed it, they got a huge block from Mikal Bridges, of all people, at the gun on Vucevic that would have won the game for Chicago. So excellent defense there from Mikal Bridges, sends it into overtime. The Bulls scored the first basket in overtime. The Knicks scored the next 9. The Bulls scored the next 5. So it was a game of runs specifically in the fourth quarter in overtime. And again, the Knicks emerged victorious, 113-111 in overtime. As we said, the Knicks have won 10 of 12, and they're 4-0 in overtime this season. As we said, 27 games remaining. The Knicks are 37-18, 20-10 at home. Believe it or not, the Bulls are now 22-34, 12-15 away. One of the 4 teams in the NBA this year, the Bulls are, that have a better record away from home. Not many teams can say that. In fact, only 4 can. The Bulls are one of them. All right, 113-111. Let's take a look at the schedule now. As we said, no rest for the weary. The Knicks and Cavs will both travel, both from New York tonight. The Cavs were in Brooklyn. The Knicks obviously at the Garden. They both win. They'll both travel to Cleveland tonight. And they will both play in Cleveland. Knicks and Cavs tomorrow night, the second half of the back-to-back. Again, Cleveland beat the Nets tonight, and the Knicks beat the Bulls. So Friday in Cleveland, that's an early start time. Remember, that's 7 Eastern. Then off Saturday, Sunday, right back at it, matinee affair at Boston. 1 o'clock start time Sunday. Off Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, Friday, Sunday of next week. Versus Philly in Memphis, in Miami, before a Golden State home game, and then that monster 11-day, 5-game Western Conference swing that begins on March 6th in LA against the Lakers, in LA against the Clippers. Remember, that's not the same building anymore. In Sacramento for the Kings, in Portland for the Blazers, in San Francisco for the Warriors. So really the first half of March, the Knicks will be playing some late night basketball. Again, before we get there, Cleveland on Friday, Boston on Sunday, and then things get real interesting real fast with some difficult games before that road trip. All right, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Also want to mention our partners in crime, the All-Stars, Gavin Shaw and Alex Wolf. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Knicks. They're the best, so follow, subscribe, and enjoy. As we said, 113, 111. Knicks get 54 combined from Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. It was Captain Crunch time. Some huge baskets in regulation from Brunson, and then some huge baskets from Cat, specifically in overtime. Remember, folks, he was 9 of 10 from the floor for 20 points in the third quarter alone. He did not score a single point in the fourth quarter, scored 6 of the 9 points the Knicks scored in overtime. So kudos to both Cat and the captain. Of course, Captain Crunch time. That was all Mike Breen. Kudos to him for the call. We stole it for our graphics tonight. Excellent work. All right. Again, the Knicks win it. 113, 111. They're 37 and 18 at overall, 20 and 10 at home. It was the first time all season long that the Knicks were without two starters. No Josh Hart, no OG Anunoby. For Anunoby, his 6th straight game that he's missed. The Knicks are 18 and 15 without him since the trade. As for Josh Hart, missed just his 2nd game of the season out with a sore right knee. Both are considered day-to-day for whatever that's worth. Certainly not long-term absences from either of those players. And for Mitchell Robinson, hopefully we'll see him soon. Full contact in practice. He's going 5-on-5. Hopefully he'll be back in the rotation. Those days off really helped both the Knicks and obviously their opponents. Okay. Cleveland tomorrow night. We'll be with you immediately following the game, and then Boston on Sunday. Until then, hope you have a wonderful night. Good night.